Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this odd Friday. I guess that's the best way to put it. We're all working from our homes and staying in our bubble, so thanks for joining us today. I'm Brad Power, Director of Programs with Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador. MNL is very proud to be offering up a series of webinars over the last couple of weeks to help everyone cope and deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. Here at MNL, and I say here, but here in Logie Bay, essentially, we're all working from home and doing our best to support you in your response to what is certainly a very odd and unfortunate situation. Today we have a 30 to 45-minute webinar from Recreation Newfoundland and Labrador. So on your screen here today, you will see Steve Martin, who is the Vice President of RecNL, as well as past President Tina Auchinleck-Ryan and Annette Olford. They will all explain who they are and where they come from as they go through their presentations. Steve is going to be up first this morning, but before we jump right in, I would like to take care of some housekeeping items. There are various functions within the Zoom app that we're using here this morning. So you can change the view of the speakers, you can change the way you see the presentation, you can change the delineation of your screens and so on. So by all means, play around. If you get kicked out, you can jump right back in. So don't worry too much about that. These webinars will be made will be posted online in an on-demand function for about a week. So if you have to jump off for one reason or the other, you can jump back online and watch it again at any time. Just follow the registration link that you would have had originally received. After 1 week, we'll then post them onto our website and they'll be available behind username and password for the municipalities. If you are interested in pursuing or following up on anything you hear today, by all means, feel free to reach out to Recreation Newfoundland and Labrador. Their Executive Director, Gary Milley, is on the line. You may be able to see his video right now. Gary is always available to work with you all. And this webinar is provided through MNL Advantage, which is our new membership services program. There will be multiple opportunities moving forward with our friends at RecNL, but others, so feel free to check out our website and always check your email and sign up for our newsletter on our website, municipalnl.ca. So without any further ado, sit back and enjoy. First up is Steve, and Steve, over to you, sir.
Thanks, Brad. Really appreciate the opportunity, and on behalf of Recreation Newfoundland and Labrador, I just want to take the time to welcome everybody on behalf of our board of directors, our president, Jerry Hall, and staff. So thanks for attending. Your attendance just shows how important recreation is in these crazy times. And thanks to MNL and Brad for hosting this. We really appreciate talking about recreation to make sure that your members and municipalities around Newfoundland and Labrador still provide recreation opportunities for their residents. So we have a little PowerPoint presentation that we're going to start here, and I'm going to share this presentation, and let's hope all this goes good. Okay, so today we're talking about just recreating recreation. We know that recreation is a huge piece to any municipalities. We want to ensure that even though people are self-isolating and people are staying home, we want to ensure that municipalities, volunteer organizations are still looking forward to offering various recreational opportunities to its residents. It's actually never been more important to provide those opportunities. Before we get into that, I am just going to, maybe my screen is not working. Just one sec, folks. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Okay, technology, gotta love it. Just a little bit about Recreation NL. I know we do have some members that are here today, so thanks for being with us. Just a little bit on Rec NL before we get into some of the other items. The vision, the Recreation NL envisions a province of engaged communities where all people embrace the benefits of recreation to embrace their quality of life. And I really think that's important, an important vision for municipalities to have as well. Just because we're in our house, we still need to ensure that we are getting creative, and we are still offering these recreational opportunities. Some of the core services that we do bring to our membership is communication, and for anyone in a municipality, we all know how important communication. It always was a major piece, obviously, through transparency of municipalities, but it's just become that much more vital to get information to our residents. So Rec NL communicates the importance of recreation, unique ideas from our membership right across the island. The advocacy piece is a big piece of RNL. We're always looking to keep consistency in recreational opportunities throughout the province. For example, we've just did a piece with Service NL, keeping regulations in our arenas across Newfoundland Labrador consistent. We've also had a strategic group working to make sure schools across the island they have a community use of schools policy, and that's enforced, and that community groups do have access to school gymnasiums or any other community-based room. And something we're working on now is, after-school programs versus daycare regulations. So we want to make sure that municipalities are able to run effective after-school programs, but not have the same regulations of a fully operating daycare. And the education and training piece is always a huge benefit to our memberships. We run an annual AGM and conference every year. We're one of 4 provinces that take part in a Atlantic Recreation Facilities Conference that was supposed to be held in St. John's this year, but obviously with everything going on, it's been pushed to 2022. To be here in St. John's. High Five, I'm sure a lot of people listening here have heard of High Five and the opportunities that brings in regards to children with your summer programs. Annette will speak a little more to that later. She may cry, so be wary of that. Inclusive training through our You Can Play 2 program. So making sure your staff are, have adequate training to make sure we provide recreation opportunities to everyone, regardless of the abilities. And our older adult activity program, which is Active for Life. This is a ready-made program that you can bring right to your community. You can have a volunteer trained, and for example, in Holyrood, we run this program. We have 2 classes. We run it twice a week. And right now, on Wednesday, we ran our first virtual Active for Life program. So that's just a way how we're recreating our programs to make sure that our residents still have that opportunity to participate in recreation. Some of the benefits of recreation. And this is the exact reason why your council should be keeping recreation as a part of its core services to its residents. It enhances the quality of life by helping people live happier and longer, develops creativity, builds healthy bodies and positive lifestyles, provides opportunities for personal growth and development for people of all abilities. Our parks, open spaces, and trails ensure ecological sustainability. And we all know that a lot of our parks around are closed, but we're still grateful that we have trails, and of course anyone can walk on sidewalks, roadways. And it's an important contributor to economic development. So, being creative, recreating how you do recreation opportunities should be an essential core service of what your council provides to its residents right now.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I think I'm good. Can I get a thumbs up from somebody? Good? Okay. I'm Annette Olford, and I'm very happy to be here today with all of you. We're always very passionate about spreading the importance of recreation in our communities. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about strengthening children's mental health and high five during this COVID epidemic. So, pandemic, sorry. So, I'm the master trainer of High Five for Newfoundland and Labrador. My full-time position is with the City of St. John's as Supervisor of Family and Leisure Services, which means quality assurance for children and youth, volunteerism, and intergenerational programming. So I like to think I know a fair bit about this stuff. I have lots of experience and lots of things to share. So for strengthening children's mental health, we know that before all of this happened, 1 in 5 children in Canada was suffering from a mental health issue or condition. And that's a really high statistic. At this point, we know that that number has increased. It's very stressful times for all of us, and we need to acknowledge and recognize that that impacts children and youth as well. So there are some tips and some ways that we can reduce that stress for our children and youth. We want to make sure that when we're parenting or when we're caring for children at these times, that we do what they tell you on the airlines, put on your oxygen mask first. So we need the guardians of children to be healthy first so they can take care of the children. That's the main thing here. So exercising, drinking lots of water, keeping those sleep routines is all really important for each of us. We also know that children need reassurance at this time. They need to know that things will be okay, that we're doing everything we can in our family to be as safe as we can. Acknowledge that scary times, but reassure them. We know as well that when things are different and routines are gone, children will and can behave negatively or become attention seeking. So my advice when children are attention seeking and you say, oh, they're looking for my attention again, is to just stop, take that moment and give it to them. They are looking for a need to be met, and it is difficult for your home to become your school and your work and your office, and the temptation to work more is even there at home. But giving them that attention and taking those breaks is really important for your children. So we know that young children feel safest when they're with their families. So at this time, some children are experiencing higher stress than normal, especially if their families are have essential workers in them. They're scared about the fact that their guardians are going out into the world. There also can be times when they're more scared if they understand, and in older children in particular, they may understand and connect the dots with the health risks. So for example, if a guardian has diabetes or hypertension, things like that that are being stated repeatedly that they're high risk, older children can put that together, and that causes more stress and anxiety in them if they feel that their guardian is at higher risk. So those things are things to be aware of. Keeping those routines really good is important. It's easier to have them up later and not leave them in bed and things like that, but where possible, keeping that routine is important. Routines really help children feel safe. So the bedtime stuff, the wake up, snacks, lunches, all that good stuff, try to keep that in place where you can. There's a whole lot of information right now flowing about all of this and what's happening. It's important to know how to keep your family safe. A lot of the other information may not be necessary. So be careful of your own screen time and your own information and how it's coming into your home, because they are hearing and seeing a whole lot and trying to piece that together. So, you know, my advice is to just reduce the amount of information coming in where you can. And it will bring down your own stress level to just stay within your family unit, know what keeps you safe, and all that extra information may not be helpful to you or your children. So that's all about the screen time. We want to make sure too that for recreation, one of the biggest things that we feel is lost is the art of play and unstructured play. We know that children in many times can be experiencing stress and anxiety because they're actually over-programmed. They go from one activity to the other with very little time to be down and to use their own imaginations. So this is a really, really important lesson for us in life, and it's a really great opportunity as recreation providers to promote the importance of just play. And play is one of the high five principles, and it's the primary occupation of children. It's what they do. It's how we all learned a whole lot of skills that we have as adults is through our play. So we really want to highlight and give you some ideas too about unstructured play and community resources. So again, I just said this, but the unstructured play is really how children develop and how they can use those imaginations and creativity. Children will express themselves a lot of ways. So at this time, there is a way, like sometimes children will express their stress or their anxiety about something through their play. You'll hear them talking about, you know, things will come out in their play that are part of their life that you didn't realize. The other really interesting way that children will express themselves is through their artwork. So looking at their drawings and, you know, seeing their little notes. And so older children are writing notes about it, and younger children may be drawing things that are exciting to them or scary to them. So paying attention to those cues is really important. So for unstructured play, we just want to give them opportunities to just be kids. So for example, if you got grandma's big button bucket or button jar, take it out, lay it on the table, see what happens. They can sort those buttons all kinds of ways by shapes and size and all colors and all that good stuff. So there are things in your home that you can do to promote this type of play. Children love water, and they love, I have one coworker who filled has a little mini inflatable pool for the summer. She dragged it in the kitchen, filled it up, and the little toddler played away in the kitchen and played in the pool. It's great. but you can fill the sink with bubbles and toys and food coloring, and they'll stand on a chair and they'll play in that for quite a while. Blankets, building forts. Remember building forts as kids? Remember building a cabin underneath the back step or the back patio? Those are all great things to be doing. One of the big challenges facing our municipalities is our recycling is not picked up. Well, okay, let's get some tape and let's build out of those boxes and build a fort or do some things or make some structures or a robot, anything you want. And also draw on your own childhood and think about the things you used to do. Me and my sister spent hours with a piece of wool playing the cat's cradle. We did thumb wars, we did ladders and put our feet together and jumped over them. So drawing on your own resources and the things you did as a child. Our generation says a lot about kids don't do what we did. And this is such a prime opportunity to get them to do that and to learn the things that we learned as children and get them off those screens. So hopefully some of these advice and tips is helpful to you as your role as parent or guardian, or in your role as providing support and services to others. So thanks for listening, and I'll turn it back now.
Okay, Tina, over to you.
Hey, thank you. Hi, everybody. Great to be here. I hope everybody's doing well. So during this time, what we're doing is we are recreating recreation and what is taking place in our communities. By being more creative, we're using a variety of resources and props that we may not have used before. Technology for many is challenging at the best of times. So now we're all at home, 4 and 5 people at home with technology. Don't know if our Wi-Fi is going to shut off or who's going to take care of the kids one moment to the next. And we're shifting gears. So we are doing a recreation, not just in recreation, but our whole lifestyle as well, from all perspectives of the workplace and our lifestyles. So we hear a lot of fears coming through recreation at this point in time. We hear about obesity, food insecurity, and addictions. But there is ways that we can get over that and help you get over that. So for obesity, for example, we would look at Participaction has a great app online. So if you go into Participaction, it'll give you all kinds of tips and tricks and online fitness classes. And Steve alluded to earlier that he has Active Start, and he could give you some more information on that as well. And they're doing that in their community. So let's borrow from other people's communities and what they're doing as well. There's online yoga, meditation, things like that as well. Older adults sit and fit. So we have older adults sitting at home. They don't need a full-on yoga class or fitness class. They can sit in the chair and do some leg stretches, take a can of beans out. They don't need weights. That can be their little weight for the day. So just get them moving, and there's ways around that. Also with obesity, and that alluded to a few things that you could do with the children outside, but you could also have obstacle courses inside and outside as well. Keep routine is important. In school, they had recess. So keep recess at home, but maybe the kids can actually make their own recess this time and do the healthy snacks. Do hopscotch and skipping inside or outside. You can use masking tape on your hardwood floor, your carpet. It won't destroy it, trust me. Done it for years, and it works wonders, keeps the kids occupied. I do notice there's a lot of more people walking outside now these days. I know here in Middle Cove, everywhere you look, there's people, and it's awesome. I gotta say, I think it's really bringing people out more. I've seen a lot more activity. Set up step challenges with your next door neighbor. You don't have to be with them at all the time, but you can compare who took the most steps at the end of the day. Food insecurity is another piece people are wary of. But listen to the truth, as government is saying. Don't listen to speculation. Listen to what is true. We're not going to have starvation here. We got lots of food. And when you're out shopping, I know fresh fruits and vegetables is the go-to. People would much prefer that, but frozen fruits and vegetables and canned vegetables are just as good. You can reach out to any local dietitian. We have a great resource with Rec&L, Stephanie O'Brien. Eat Great and Participate, and Stephanie would be glad to give you valuable tips on shopping and food. You could start window gardening, a community garden, your own backyard and Food First NL is a great resource as well to reach out to. Food First NL actually recently provided funding for communities to come up with innovative and creative ideas on food, serving your seniors or those in need of food and reaching out to them. So you can create a partnership. I know us in our community, we're recently creating a partnership with our local supermarket as well, through funding that we receive through Food First NL. So let's reach out to those guys as well. Addiction is an illness and it's a real struggle, and it's important to communicate. We need to communicate. Physical activity will reduce addictions. Some people are struggling with addictions. Others may end up having an addiction because of being isolated in a time like this. But maybe those people are picking up a new hobby. So try not to be negative if you see someone out picking up a piece of wood at Kent's or whatnot, or borrowing some tools from somebody. But they are trying to keep their hands busy so they are not creating a bad habit or an addiction. So maybe they're looking for another outlet. So be patient and be kind. So change is happening and change will continue to happen, but we have to be the difference by making the difference. And we can do this by communication. Communicate not with only your friends, your colleagues, but communicate with your family. We're all home, like I said, and we are 4 or 5 people in the house, your pets, and probably driving each other insane at times, but we got to communicate. And like Annette had mentioned earlier, let's talk to our children. There's a lot of social media on the go and the electronics, but make sure you make time for your family at this time. It's important. Sharing of information. We all come in different body shapes and sizes, but our municipalities are all different sizes. Remember, every municipality don't have the same resources as everybody else. So let's share our knowledge and our experiences, and let's reshape the wheel and not reinvent it. So we can just do that by sharing our ideas and not hoarding them and not wanting to share. Support local. I think it's very important to support local. So if you're doing an activity or offering a prize within the municipality, if you had an Easter egg hunt, offer a prize maybe that you can send someone to a pizza place or your local drugstore, your local supermarket. That way they're going in and spending the money and keeping the business in-house. So, and buy your groceries local as well. So there's just some tips and tricks on with those types of changes. Again, communicate, share your information, and shop local. So recreating recreation, what I did here is I took a snippet from 7 municipalities in our province, and as you can see, we all share the same vision. So I think it's important that we have the quality programs, we're active, sense of home, connection, opportunities. So as change is happening, recreation professionals are finding ways to recreate and discover a new way and a new adventure for our communities. So you may find that during this time, every community can't do virtual games and activities, but the recreation professionals at this time are also taking the opportunity to do policies and procedures and make their plans for the future. So it's important to recognize what recreation is doing for the municipalities and how they're getting it out there and doing it. So again, share your ideas, get the healthy, active lifestyles, a strong sense of home, the connections as well, but keep in mind they are creating the future for your policies and plans. And not only in recreation, municipal workers are doing that in other departments as well. So we do have some examples of creative programming that has been going on. And Steve and Annette are also going to talk to that as well. So for example, I know like our community in Torbay, we've done the online egg hunt, we've done get outdoors and go for a walk, but we've done snapshots every day of activities to encourage people to get out or stay home and do a board game or do a cooking class. We have tutorials in drawing. We have Earth Day coming up, so we could do art classes and poetry and have a little mini contest. Portugal Cove St. Philip's are doing in an innovative Easter camp as well. We have Springdale done an Easter scavenger hunt. Pasadena is doing a Lego contest. You can, Flat Rock Pooch Cove had the Easter Bunny going around just waving to people in the community last week. It really brought people together and lifted their spirits. So it's important to do things like that. Simple online drawings. There's been reading activities going on. The Town of Paradise, I know, have a great Facebook page set up. So it's great to follow them and sneak some of their ideas. I'm sure they don't mind sharing them. They have Hoop Fit, they have the live story time, bingo live, things like that. So at this time, I'm going to ask Steve and Annette also to chime in and say what they're doing in their programs for their communities as well. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Tina. Yeah, so, and I apologize, I'm hearing my mic, it might be in and out. Yeah, so like Tina said, we're also have a number of items ongoing, as you see on the screen, the Rec at Home Active for Life. So that's our senior-based program. Our instructor, Jenny Temple. So we go live with that program every Thursday. We just moved it from Wednesday to Thursday every week now. So our seniors can be active at home. We've done the online Easter egg hunt. You know, we, as Tina said, share your ideas with your communities. We work with Torbay, and they came up with that great idea. So we thought it'd be great to do in Holyrood. So, and it went over very well. We've teamed up with Get Messy NL to do Play-Doh making live on our Facebook page. We've teamed up with Jelly Bean Entertainment to do live reptile shows. So again, through your events and programs, connect with local business. They're looking for business, and as we recreate recreation, it's great to support that local business. The newest one we have ongoing right now is called the Perfect Burger Challenge. We teamed up with a very successful chef from our area, and we've connected with a local business, the Station Diner in Holyrood, and we're doing a burger challenge. So people make the best burger they can, take a picture, send the ingredients in, and that burger is going to be featured at the Station Diner for takeout. So people can go, and so it goes from recreation right to supporting local business. So that's another idea. And of course, we're sharing ideas all the time of things you can do at home, as many other municipalities are doing as well. Annette?
Okay. So at the City of St. John's, we also wanted to find great ways to reach out to our residents. So we've created a at-home resources page on the City of St. John's website under recreation. It's called At Home Resources. And a lot of the activities that we do provide in our children's and youth programs, we've taken those plans and given them a branding, and they're all being posted. We're rolling them all out, and they're all going on the website. So you can just pop on there and take any of our ideas and any of the, probably a lot of games and activities from your own community, but they're in a great printable format for families. And the other big component is staying connected with residents, and recreation has that unique role in that we are very frontline. We're very much engaged with citizens on a daily basis. So a lot of our staff are shooting videos from their homes, and we've looked at a whole bunch of topics. So for example, one of our staff has is sharing her knitting projects with the residents and just introducing herself and letting residents know she misses them and we can't wait to be back together, and showing her knitting projects. Another mom is shooting a video with blanket forts and talking about the value of play. So it's a great way to also reinforce the value of recreation, but also provide our residents with ideas about things they can do, and it gives them the ability to still see us and connect with us. So that's kind of what we're working on at the moment, and we are really recreating it, and it's an evolving thing, and it's actually quite exciting. And I think a lot of things we've been challenged with will continue to stay as part of the work we do and how we view it. So it's good stuff.
Great. Thanks, Annette. So that's pretty much our presentation today. Of course, we welcome any questions that you might have in regards to recreating recreation. So, Brad, I'll turn it back over to you.
Great, thanks, Steve, and thank you, Annette and Tina. Very much appreciated. Folks, so as Steve referenced, we have some time now for a Q&A. If you have a question, you can put it into the chat function of the Zoom app here in front of you, or you can email me at bpower@municipalnl.ca, or you can also text me at 709-763-4686. So we do have one question right now. It's from Krista Freak in Lewisport. Krista asks, she's inquiring about recommendations regarding outdoor trails and boardwalks and the maintaining of physical distancing. For example, a boardwalk can be one direction walking, but no option for safe distancing when passing others. So do either of you have a comment on that one?
Our public works kind of handle all the maintenance of our recreation infrastructure, but I do know that as they are working, they're given individual jobs, they have individual vehicles. So, as long as, and I think every municipality is going to be different in regards to how they operate with public works. But in speaking from Holyrood is we're maintaining, the 2 meters or 6 feet in between at all times. It's going to be challenging, no doubt. Tina, I don't know if you have an example from Torbay.
Our rec facilities are closed at this time. The trails are open, maintaining the physical distance as well. I guess it's a moving target as we get more information from the health directive and government, and that's how we're going to operate.
And I live in CVS, and the T-rail is open, and it's one of the few places, but it's really busy. But I think it's residents dependent to maintain that distance, in any space that's open and available. So, and I've found that people are really good about that. So.
And if I can just add, there are a number of trails that have been publicized as experiencing some difficulty with the social distancing piece. Kitty Vitty Lake, as an example, in St. John's. There were some signs posted down there by the city yesterday or a couple of days ago that did ask individuals to go in one direction around Kitty Vitty Lake and to maintain social distancing. Realistically, folks, we know that that's going to be a challenge, but it's incumbent on the municipality, in our experience, that they take every effort to try to promote safe distancing. If people don't follow it, fair enough, but you can be seen as doing everything you possibly can to promote it. And so if, we at M&L have recommended the closure of any public facilities in consultation with our members and the provincial government, of course, we know that the East Coast Trail and other organizations like that are certainly putting out cautionary notices about their trail networks. So I think we need to follow the lead of those others and do everything we possibly can, use every tool in the toolbox to promote people staying in their bubble and practicing social distancing and whatnot. But it's all within reason. It's you can put a policy in place that a walking trail is one way, but we need to recognize sometimes people don't walk an entire trail, so they can only go a few feet and have to come back. So in some cases, there's nothing you can do, but I think we should be taking every possible opportunity to use every tool in our toolbox to support that social distancing piece. And there's lots of precedents. There's lots of communities across the province that have shut down their parks, they've shut down their programs, they've shut down their playgrounds, and they've shut down walking trails as well. Are there any other questions from the floor? Okay, so seeing none, I do encourage you, if you have any follow-up.
Brad,
Sorry, go right ahead, Gary.
Wanda White has one there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Yes, so Wanda is just wondering if MNL and RNL will be looking at asking the province for a blanket policy for facilities such as dog parks and community gardens, as has been done with the playgrounds. Just seems difficult with neighboring communities doing different things. Wanda, I'll open it up to our panelists. Does anyone have a comment on that?
I think at the end of the day, it's it's up to your local council in what they're going to enforce in your community. But it comes down to sharing policy amongst the municipalities. We do have a great discussion amongst recreation directors across the island. We're working on some further communication tools, so we can, whether you're a volunteer group, as long as you're a recreation member, that you can communicate effectively with other people to find out what you're doing in your municipalities with your park closures and things of that nature. But ultimately, I think it's up to council. But Gary, I don't know if you want to comment on that from our RNL perspective.
Yeah, well, certainly we have had conversations with officials in the Department of Children, Seniors and Social Development. And actually, I guess Brad's probably about 3 weeks ago now, you and I did have a conversation around some of the similar things. We've been working with the CPRA, our national body, to get guidance on where they see some of the operational issues. But it came back clearly, because actually the closing of parks was discussed at the national level, and they said, well, that's a municipal governance issue. As much as there's inconsistency, and I do understand Wanda's concern with regard, especially if it's a neighboring community and you have two different directions or policy directions. And we only need to look in the Avalon when we had Snowmageddon, where each municipality had various implementing various regulations around the emergency status, to see the confusion. So I don't know, maybe Brad, we could have a further discussion. RNL is always open to discussion with government. We've asked our departmental representatives to speak with municipal affairs on that very thing. Brad and I with MNL have had conversations, but at the end of the day, right now, as Brad suggested, municipalities have the jurisdiction, and Steve, as well as you suggest. But if it's felt collectively amongst our executive and board and members that we want to encourage a blanket policy, then certainly we would pursue that, and I would probably encourage Wanda and others to follow up directly with our office or our board.
Yeah. And I'll just add to that, Gary. Wanda, it's important when MNL holds its third round of regional meetings next week, regional conference calls, that your town representatives bring that forward on those calls, because I guarantee you that you're not the only one asking this question. And we can put it in our letter to the minister, our third letter to the minister, or we can advocate on behalf of communities. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we're governed by public health orders that are issued by Minister Haggie and Dr. Janice Fitzgerald. And right now, I believe, and I stand to be corrected, I think gatherings of 5 or more are not permitted. It might be 10 or more, but either or, there are gatherings of a certain size that cannot be permitted. When you look at dog parks and community gardens, they are areas to congregate, whereas a walking trail is an area of transit. So I can see the justification why trails are being left open. But all parks, MNL's position has been that all parks and public facilities where people would gather in groups should be closed at this point in time. So that would preclude dog parks and playgrounds and things like that. The purpose for playgrounds in particular, for those that are not aware, the reason they're dangerous is because there's so many touch points. Children and adults will touch many aspects of a playground equipment. So it just increases the potential for a contraction of the virus. Whereas on a trail, you're not really touching much, you're just walking. So if you maintain that social distancing, you should be okay. And of course, Dr. Janice Fitzgerald, the Chief Medical Officer of Health, did reference trails yesterday as a great opportunity for individuals to get out, but she did express the importance of social distancing. Are there any other questions from the group? Okay, so seeing none, I would like to thank all of our panelists this morning, Steve, Tina, and Annette, and of course, Gary for joining us. Please note that once you finish on Zoom with us, you will receive an email that has a satisfaction survey. We strongly encourage you to fill out that survey. It will literally take 2 minutes of your time. It's extremely important that we get your feedback for future webinars and future opportunities. And we will be putting out some more information in the future about other opportunities as well. So sign up for our newsletter on our website at municipalnl.ca. And we would love to see many of you participate moving forward. A big thank you again to all of our partners. I hope you enjoyed today, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great morning, folks. Take care.